Sony Xperia 1 Mark II. What's it like to live with every day? Hi guys, thanks for watching the video. Today I'm going to tell you all the things that I like about the Xperia 1 Mark II. And these things are not just the standard things, these are the little things that you can only really appreciate when you own the phone. To be honest with you, I don't think other YouTube reviews are going to be able to do this topic justice, because I really think that to really understand the importance of these features, you really have to own the phone at least for a few weeks. To give you guys a little bit of background, I bought this phone a few weeks ago, and that's because I did a camera comparison test on YouTube. If you want, you can have a look at that video, I'll leave it down below. And basically I found that the Sony Xperia 1 Mark II's camera was better than the competitor Samsung phone and the Apple phone. So that's why I went with this phone. Just before we dive in guys, if you want down-to-earth, honest reviews, be sure to like this video and subscribe to this channel. I don't take any money from sponsors, so all the opinions that I have of this phone, they're 100% my own, so I don't feel like I've been influenced in any way. Let's start then. The first thing I really like about the Xperia 1 Mark II is the fact that it has a notification light. And the notification light is just up there. As you can see, it's going off now, just there. And to me, I think that's a really good feature. Notification lights start coming off phones, I don't know, years ago now. And for some reason, very few brands do it, and I always like it. So yeah, that's the first thing I noticed. The second thing that I really like about this phone is the form factor. And you might notice this is a 21:9 phone. 21:9 means it's basically like super widescreen cinema scope. So when you watch videos, let's say movies, you know, like the black bars that you get on the top and the bottom, because this is so super wide, when you watch a movie, then there will be no black bars, it will just be movie. Whereas on another screen, you'll notice black bars on the top and bottom, which can get a little bit distracting. The other great thing about 21:9 is because it's so widescreen but narrow, it's much easier to hold in your hand. So you could actually use this one-handed. If you've got pretty big hands, this will be easier to hold one-handed than another phablet. Let's say like a Note 20, for example. I've got quite big hands and I need to use that two-handed. This one here, I can use it one-handed. So I think that's a great thing. You don't feel like you sacrifice much screen real estate. So what more do you want, really? The third thing I really like about the Xperia 1 Mark II, and this is a big one to be honest with you, and that is the thumbprint reader or the fingerprint reader on the side. Have a look how easy it is to get into the phone. I'll do it again, and again, and again, and again. See, that's 5 times in a row, no effort whatsoever, just like that. Now I've come from a Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus, and that had an in-screen reader, in-screen fingerprint reader, and that's so annoying. Like a lot of the times it would fail, so it was more of a nuisance than anything else. And I know a lot of you guys maybe watching, you probably have an iPhone. You know, with those ones, I think you have Face ID only now, which is fine. However, you see guys, the problem with the iPhone Face ID that I've heard a lot of people complain about is that they actually can't get into the phone because it's Face ID. So yeah, this is a COVID friendly phone. What more do you want? Why aren't they flying off the shelves? The other great thing that I like about this, and to be honest with you, this is a kind of a 50-50 thing. It really depends on you. So if you play some content back, like movies or music, you get this option called dynamic vibration, right? So what it's doing is, let's say there's like a bass line or something like that, or a drum beat in a piece of music, the phone vibrates a little bit to the drum beat, and it kind of changes the sound a little bit, and it kind of makes the music feel a little bit more lively. Now, whether you think that's a gimmicky feature or not, that's down to you. But to be honest with you, I leave mine on, like just like a little bit. I don't turn it all the way up to the top. So I'll show you that now. Just so you know guys, this is the music that comes preloaded with the phone. I think any other music I play might get a copyright strike, so that's why I've opted to play this one. This is not my type of music, I swear to you. As you can see, when that gets turned up, the bass kind of creeps up with the vibration. It's really weird. It sounds more bassy as well, so really weird. But yeah, it's a good thing to have. I think it's better to have it than not to have it. So yeah. Another great thing is the battery care. And what do I mean by that? Well, basically there's a mode on your phone, right? It figures out every single night what time you go to bed and what time you wake up, right? When you put your phone on charge, what it's going to do, the battery care mode, what it's going to do, it's going to slow charge your phone and it's going to time it precisely to the point that you get up in the morning. So I'll show you that now. As you can see, I've been kind of having a lie-in recently, guys. Don't blame me, we're in lockdown and I'm trying to do YouTube. So, you know, I'm up all night doing editing and stuff like that. The battery care mode is slow charges your phone, and really, that's really good for your battery health. A lot of these fast chargers these days, they're overcharging the phone, they're charging it too quickly, and the battery life, the longevity of the battery is compromised. But don't forget, you can always turn the battery care mode on and off if you want to. I choose to keep mine on because obviously I want to look after this phone. So yeah, another fantastic thing. This is for you guys who maybe you're content creators or something like that. This phone here, it accepts micro SD. Yes, we have a phone that supports micro SD. Not many of them do anymore. This is the tray here, as you can see. Oops, that's the SIM card out. This is the tray where you put the micro SD in, which is really handy because, you know, just plugging your phone in and having to do that every single time is really annoying. That brings me on to the next benefit. So did you see how easy it was for me to take that tray out, right? Most of the time these days you need like a little metal tool that you got to poke in the phone that takes the SIM tray out. Well, this one here, you just put it in like that and in it goes. And if you take it out, you've got this flap here. You just put your finger in it, pull it out, and we're done. I really, really like that feature. That is excellent. Another great thing about this phone, and I know I'm saying a lot of good things, but that's because it's a good phone. I can't lie. Have a look here. We have a 3.5mm audio jack right here, guys. 3.5mm audio jack. When do you see that on a phone these days? Now, if you're into your music like I am, I have a playlist on this channel called Man Discovers Hi-Fi. If anyone's interested in watching my content, you'll notice that I'm actually into headphones and speakers and all that. Now for me, all the best headphones, they come wired. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to test the quality of this 3.5mm jack with these AKG headphones. These AKG headphones, they usually need a headphone amp to power them. I'm going to do a test and see if the Sony has got a good enough headphone amplifier inside here to power these headphones. I've turned it up to the maximum. And I can confirm that the Sony Xperia 1 Mark II is powering these AKGs. They're not at the maximum volume like I'm used to be honest with you. There's just a fraction lower than that. But the quality seems good to me. And I've put these AKGs on other phones and they haven't even been able to power it to 40% volume. So that's a good thing straight away. What's another good thing about this phone? Well, this phone has a very special screen. It's a 4K OLED HDR screen, and I think it's the best screen on the market today. All the other screens out there, they're rocking 2K displays, which is still plenty sharp. I mean, it's plenty sharp for this, but to be honest with you, I can notice, I've compared this side by side with my Galaxy Note 10 Plus. That's got a 2K screen, and that's renowned as an excellent OLED display. And on things like text, you can just make out that the 4K is really doing a little bit of difference. It definitely is around text for sure. So yeah, I think the 4K display is a welcomed thing. I would rather the 4K display personally than these 120 frames per second displays that you're getting in phones these days, or 75 hertz refresh rates even. I think there's something like that. That's just my opinion. It really depends on you. If you're a gamer or something like that, maybe you'd value the higher refresh rate, but I'm not. I don't game on phones, so yeah. Now, what type of review would this be if I'm going to compliment the Xperia 1 Mark II? I'm not even going to talk about the camera. Of course, this phone is really focused at people who like photography, who like to make content, you know, just anything really. People who like Sony cameras even, but also people who like natural images. And I think this Sony Xperia 1 Mark II, it's a bit of a pain to say, I have to say 1 Mark II. But I do think that this phone takes very, very nice images, The focus is lovely. It's got the eye autofocus that you see on a lot of Sony Alpha cameras. It's got that. It's got lovely bokeh effect. It's got a 1.7 f1.7 aperture on the primary camera, and it lets light in like crazy. It's really nice. It's got lovely bokeh effect. It looks more natural than other ones I've seen. I've done lots of camera comparisons with the Xperia 1 against other phones, and I think this phone is just the best all-rounder when it comes to taking still images. The other great thing is, it's camera related, but it's a bit slightly different. It's the Photo Pro app, right? And just in case you want to see, Photo Pro app is there. You click that, and then up comes basically a type of display that you'd find on a Sony Alpha camera. You get a lot of different modes here, and the amount of control that you get, if you kind of know what you're doing. I'm not like a professional photographer, far from it, but I feel like I know a little bit more than the average guy or girl, and you know, maybe a little bit more, not that much more, but to the point where I'm able to control aperture. I'm able to you know, determine what type of lens is best for the scene, what shutter speed, what ISO, and that sort of stuff. Just basic settings really. But the fact that you can do this on this Sony Photo Pro app, and it's made really easy and really intuitive, is something that really sold this phone to me. And also, moving on to the next point, is the Cinema Pro app right there, which now puts you into a cinema style 21:9 mode, as you can see. And again, you get full control over the video camera. You can adjust the shutter speed. You can shoot cinema style movies with like the black bars at the top. You can experiment with different color profiles, like the famous Venice color profile from Sony. It's called Venice CS Color Science. So yeah, I mean, all these things that other phones don't have as standard, I think it really sold it to me, because I like to make these videos for you guys. And you know, if you like making videos in any way, this is a great phone for that. Next point is the battery life. The battery life on this phone is absolutely incredible. It has a 4000 mAh battery or 4200, I'm not so sure. It's one of those two. But anyway, it's a massive improvement over the previous Xperia 1. My other half has the Xperia 1. And the reason I kind of chose this phone was because I got that phone, you know, for her because she needed a new phone. That was at a good price. And yeah, but when I saw it, I was actually really blown away by the image, right? Image quality and all that sort of stuff. Now, the battery life on that phone was the one thing that kind of let it down a teeny bit. It wasn't the best battery life, but this phone has really sorted that out. Honestly, I'm not losing much percentage, 20% a day, something like that. To be honest, I don't use the phone that much compared to a lot of people, but I've noticed it is definitely better than my previous Note 10 by a little bit. So, and I can notice that, so I think that's really good. Another benefit is the side sense. Okay, side sense, it enables you to use the phone one-handed and like do gestures. So if you can see here, there is a sensor. You can't actually see it, but there is one, right? I can't even see it. It's kind of blended in. But if you double tap it, up will come your one-handed mode like this. So you can use it one-handed. Sorry, it's a really awkward angle this because I'm right-handed, but I'll show you again. See? Again. So yeah, you can access all your apps like that. And yeah, I just think it's a really neat feature. I don't think it's gimmicky. It's very intuitive. It's very easy to use. You know, I think phones are getting bigger, so one-handed operation is a really nice touch. Another benefit is that it's running what seems to be as close to stock Android as I could possibly make out, you know? So it's just like stock Android. I think it pretty much is stock Android. It hasn't got much Sony spin on it, and I think that's a welcome thing. So yeah, just fits nicely, I think. Another brilliant thing is the front stereo speakers. So you didn't hear that earlier on, but this phone, there's that song again. This phone has stereo speakers. Okay, so left and right, it does make a difference. It makes the audio sound better. If you're sitting watching a movie, as I've done a couple of times now with this phone in bed, you know, it sounds good. Yeah, it's fine. It's good. What more can I say? Another good thing, this is just a minor thing now, is that it's waterproof as well. I think it's IP65/IP68. I think it probably depends on this flap. You know, if the flap is open, then it's not going to be as waterproof. So this flap has got to remain shut. But, you know, I think Sony done a great job to put that onto this phone. I think these days it's a minimum requirement. A lot of the phones actually at this price point don't have, I think like OnePlus, if you look at OnePlus phones, they don't have IP rated phones, and so they're not technically waterproof. And I think it's because it costs money to get that rating. So the fact that at this price point you got the IP rating, I think is a good thing. Moving on to the next benefit, and I think that's the price. Now the price isn't the cheapest, but it is by far from the highest price, right? If you look at the Apple iPhones, the iPhone 12 Pro Max and the Galaxy S20 Ultra and the Note 20 Ultra, if you look at these, this phone here is a good few £100 cheaper than those, right? Which I think is an excellent thing. It comes with very good specifications. It comes with camera that is as good as, or in some cases outperforms those cameras. And the other thing as well is this phone here came in my package with a free pair of Sony headphones worth like £150. Where are they? Someone's nicked them. I don't know where my headphones are, to be honest with you, but they are the XB900s, which are decent noise cancelling, active noise cancelling headphones, wireless, all the business, you know. So I mean, for you to get this phone, I mean, it was like all in £700, I think, for me to buy this all in, and it came with £150 headphones on top of that. So the final thing that I'm going to say that I really like about this phone is the design. Okay, I just think that the design is unique. Yeah, it's a 21:9 form factor. It's not following the trends of other companies, like, you know how Apple set the trend with they set the trend with the all-in-one display, or whatever you call it, the borderless display. Then Samsung copied, and you know, all these phones these days, they're looking less and less identifiable. But you look at this phone and you know it's a Sony. I mean, I can see it's a Sony straight away because they've maintained that kind of squarish kind of look. You know, I just think personally, good on them. They haven't completely followed the trends, and they've stuck to what they think is a good thing. I think it's kept its identity. So yeah, and what I'm going to do, because you might have noticed I didn't take the sticker off because I'm a bit funny, but just for you guys, I'm going to take the sticker off today on the back. There we go. I did that just for you. All right. If it weren't for making this video, that would have stayed on there to the day I sell this phone. So yeah, but just look at it. Look how nice that phone looks. And there's a nice purple color as well. Now the final thing, I believe, you know, we're at about 20 good points on this phone, which shows you how good it is. And that is the signature Sony camera button. They've been doing this since, I think, 2004, like with the old K700, if anyone remembers those old Sony Ericsson phones, where they had camera buttons. So you just look. There you go, you're in the camera. Half press autofocus. It's just nice, you know, it's just nice. Good on Sony for that. So what did you guys think of the video? If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Do you like this Sony Xperia 1 Mark II as much as I do, or am I going a bit over the top? And, you know, I'm praising it, I'm loving it and all that. Tell me what you think. Do you think there's a better phone than this right now? Let me know, comment below, and I'll see you next time.